internasional yang akan diadakan oleh BINUS. Dan mewakili beliau, saya membuka acara Graduate Academic Forum pada pagi hari ini. Mari sama-sama kita buka majelis ilmu kita pada pagi hari ini dengan sama-sama melafazkan basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Untuk selanjutnya, saya serahkan langsung kepada moderator kita, Ibu Chairani Rizka MPD, untuk memandu Graduate Academic Forum pada hari ini. Kepada Ibu Chairani, kami persilahkan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Rasina, for the kind opening. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope all of us doing great and full of energy because we are going to have an inspiring session this morning. Welcome to our Graduate Academic Forum, proudly hosted by our Master's Program in English Education, Faculty of Tarbiyah Science and Teacher Training, UIN Sumatera Utara. Alhamdulillah, we are grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for giving us the chance to meet together virtually today in a good health and spirit. I'm Chairani Rizka, and I'm very happy to be your moderator for today's session. Today's topic is ensuring trustworthiness in qualitative research. This is a very important topic for us graduate students, especially for those who will soon conduct research. And we will learn how to make our qualitative research more credible, dependable, and authentic, so that people can really trust our findings. And here we are so lucky today because we have a special guest, a very experienced lecturer. And allow me to briefly introduce our speaker, Dr. Utami Dewi M.Hedi. Let me share the CV. Dr. Utami is a respected lecturer at Universitas Islam Sumatera Utara, where she has been teaching since 2008. She earned her bachelor, master's, and doctoral degrees in English language education and applied linguistics from Universitas Negeri Medan. With more than 16 years of experience in higher education, Ma'am Utami has taught various subjects such as academic writing, creative writing, educational technology and language education, and also teacher professional development. Her research focused on English language teaching, writing instruction, and professional growth for teachers. And Dr. Utami has also published several papers in reputable journals, including studies on students' interest in creative writing, the effectiveness of Grammarly as an automated writing installation tool, and the observation for teacher development. So beyond her academic achievements, she has guided many students and researchers. So we are lucky to learn directly from her experience today. We are so truly honorable to have her with us today. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Utami Dewi M.Hedi to deliver her presentation. The screen is yours, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Rani. Ya, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, all praise and thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty, for His countless blessing and mercy that give us help, and we can meet though from the online meeting today. Yeah. And also may peace and blessing be upon to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the messengers of the truth and guidance us. Yeah. And the next one, I'm honored to begin this forum, yeah. And then I would like to extend my gratitude to the Secretary of the Magister English Department for the opportunity to address these discussions, yeah, on such of the important topic, ensuring the trustworthiness in the qualitative research, yeah. And then good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, fine.
We are good.
Okay, so nice. It is nice. It is an honor to welcome you all today in this academic forum, yeah, on the trustworthiness in qualitative research. Of course, I'm excited to share some of the practical strategies to answer the qualitative study, uh, to make the credible, dependable, transferable, and comparable. So I try to share the PPT first, yeah. Okay, this is one. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it is clearly seen by us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, this is our discussion today. Yeah, so this is establishing trustworthiness in qualitative research. Of course, I believe that most of you have heard this terminology. Yeah, uh, because you are graduate from undergraduate student, and then I believe that you ever make the research, whether it is quantitative or qualitative research, and then most of you familiar with this trustworthiness. Uh, okay, sorry. Okay, we miss R, yeah, here. Okay. Okay, so you familiar with this word, yeah. But before we start, I need to ask you some of the question, yeah. And then you can answer in the chat box first, yeah. Okay, guys, yeah. Okay, so the first question is, what does trustworthiness means in qualitative research? Can you answer in your chat box first? So what does the trustworthiness means in qualitative research based on your knowledge? Yeah. No one to chat here. Oh my God. Okay, thank you, Azriel. This is the first one. Okay, it is addressed to Bill about the readiness and fairness and validity of every single data taken by us when analysis conducted and verified clearly. Thank you. Okay, how about the others? How about the others? So what does trustworthiness mean in qualitative based on your knowledge? Yeah. Okay. So this is LC. It's so that research can be trusted because the data and results are trustful and done. Okay, thank you. And then, okay, it is talk about the reliability and validity, and then also Fadila talking about the validity and reliability. Okay. Okay, thank you for your answer. And then the next question, how is it different from validity and real reliability in quantitative research? Of course, some of you talking about the validity and reliability in quantitative research. So how is it different? So how the trustworthiness different from these two terminology that we found in quantitative research? Can you chat in, you can send a message in chat box also? Just the simple one. How it different? Okay. Okay, the difference of subject. Okay, the different of subject. Okay. Thank you, Fadila. How about the others? Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. So, what do you know about this terminology first? Okay. So, Azri said that reliability means the consistency, validity, accuracy. So that is, yeah. Okay, thank you for your response. Okay. So the next one, yeah. Okay. Okay, of course, what are the quality criteria for qualitative research? Of course, in quantitative, of course, we have the quality of the research, and also in qualitative research. Maybe some of you familiar with the qualitative research. So how we know the quality criteria of the qualitative research. So of course, we talk about the trustworthiness. So the question that we need to ask, can the finding to be trust? Yeah. So can the finding to be trust? So this is the definitions or what is the mean of the trustworthiness, yeah, based on the uh, expert, yeah, Lincoln and Guba. Trustworthiness in qualitative research is a framework for establishing the quality and credibility of a study. So it is replacing traditional quantitative concept like validity and reliability. And then in trustworthiness in qualitative research is measure of confidence in study findings, ensuring they are credible, reliable, interpretable within the context of the participant experiences. Yeah. So so of course, we have the terminology in quantitative, yeah, that is validity and reliability. But in qualitative, we have the terminology that is the trustworthiness, yeah, the trustworthiness. So of course, there are some of the aspect, yeah, that we can compare between the quantitative and qualitative. So the aspect of truth, that is in quantitative we talk about the internal validity, but in qualitative we talk about the credibility. So what is the from this table, yeah, this is the qualitative equivalent is internal validity. So it means it is answer the finding are accurate and believable reflection of the participants, yeah. And then of course in qualitative there are many technique later we will discuss, yeah. And then the second aspect is about the applicables. In quantitative, we have external validity or generalization. But of course, in qualitative, we don't talk about the generalization, but the transferability. So the context of this, of course, how this finding can be used in either context of the situation. Yeah. And then the third aspect that is about the consistency in quantitative, we'll talk about the reliability, but of course in qualitative, we have the terminology dependability, yeah. And then the last one that is about neutrality. In quantitative, we have objectivity, and then in qualitative, we have conformability, yeah. So, why the trustworthiness matters, yeah? Why the trustworthiness matters? So, yeah, of course, it it helps other researcher and stakeholder trust your insight and use them confidently. And then, of course, the trustworthiness also demonstrates the rigor and transparency, showing exactly how the conclusion were derived. And then, of course, the trust in qualitative, we talk about the personal experience, yeah, deal with the personal experience. So, of course, the trustworthiness can validate the authenticity of the voice that represents, yeah. So, though answering the trustworthiness is sometimes very challenging in qualitative, yeah, because it is very subjective nature which involve a deep research, participation, interaction that introduce the bias. But of course, beside the challenges, we have the mm, we have the important, yeah, the important of the trustworthiness. For example, yeah, can enhance the credibility and accuracy. Yeah, it means it ensure that the findings are true and accurate representation of the participation realities rather than the research bias. And then, of course, another important of the trustworthiness is the support rigorous evaluation, because of course it provides the necessary evidence, yeah, for the committer or others to assess the study value and then the utility, yeah, especially for example, yeah, your thesis, yeah, research, yeah. Maybe maybe some of you have the experience in doing qualitative research, right? Or most of you doing the qualitative research. Whoever do the qualitative research, please. You can check the box. You are familiar with this terminology? Yes. Okay, no one to say, yeah. Okay, the next. Oh, yes, this is the answer, yeah. Okay, I was pleased with the some ma'am, but it is a different theory through the technique. Yes, okay. Because we have many theory, yeah, but the most popular one from Lincoln and Guba, and then support by some of the experts also, yeah, such as Creswell, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next slide, please. So, yeah, this is yeah. So, this is that we want to discuss, yeah. So, enhancing qualitative research through rigorous methodological practice. Yeah, we have conformability. Yeah, we have credibility, dependability, transferability. Yeah, so these four pillar, yeah, these four pillar talk about the how trustworthiness works, yeah. So this is based on the Lincoln and Guba, yeah. Okay, the next slide. Okay, that's the word, yeah. So what is the credibility? So the first is the credibility, that is the confidence in the truth of the findings. And then the second one, we have the transferability, yeah, showing that the finding have applicability in other contexts. And then the next, we have dependability, showing that the findings are consistent and could be repeated. And then the last one, we have conformability, a degree of neutrality or extent to which the respondent shape finding of the study and not the researcher bias, motivation, and interest. Yeah. So that is so of course, when we talk this popular, yeah, from Lincoln and Guba, later we will discuss about the strategies of the technique that we can uh, do in credibility, transferability, dependability, and conformability. Yeah. So firstly, to have this credibility first, yeah, the credibility. So the question that we can address of concern, yeah, for example, how can a researcher establish trust in the result of that they reveal? So the simple question like this, eh? How can reader know whether the finding being reported are accurate? So that is the simple one. So if we talk about the credibility, the question, how can reader know whether the finding being reported are accurate? So that is about the accuracy of the result. So how the reader can know, or uh, the the audience know that your findings, your data are accurate, yeah. And then the second one, yeah, that is about talking about the transferability. So this the question of this, yeah, can be like how can the reader find out if the finding would hold true in the same context, yeah, with the comparable or identical participant. So can we use this in different contexts? Yeah, that is the simple question. Yeah, and then for the dependability, yeah, showing that the findings are consistent. So the question for this is can be like this: how no, yeah, how can we how can we ascertain whether the research was conducted neutral, yeah, whether the research bias, yeah, or based on the personal interest in the finding, yeah. And then the question for the last one, the conformability, this is about the, oh, no. The conformability, yeah. The conformability, that is about the neutrality, yeah, the neutrality. So, how um, the data or the findings are neutral, yeah, neutral, yeah. So that is for the conformability. So these are some of the strategies or techniques, yeah. First one, we have the credibility. There are some of the techniques such as prolonged engagement, triangulation, member checking, reflexivity, persistent observation. And then for transferability, we have thick description. And then in dependability, we have audit trial or comprehension record. And then we have peer debriefing. And then for the last one, we have conformability, that is reflexivity, and then reflective journal, audit trials, and then external audit. Okay, let's talk deeply in each of the strategies that we can develop the trustworthiness, yeah. Okay, so enhancing the qualitative data credible through rigorous methods. So the first one, you can use the triangulations, and then you have many types of the triangulation. So in the triangulation, verify findings through multiple sources for accuracy. And then we have the member checking. So the member checking ensuring participants' experience are accurately represented. And then we have prolonged engagement here. It means to build trust and identify nuance over time. Yeah. Okay. So first one, this is the triangulation. So what is the triangulation? Yeah. So the triangulation in research, in qualitative research, is like checking multiple sources to make sure that the finding are accurate or reliable. Yeah. So there are many types of the triangulation. The first one, we have method triangulation. So using different ways to collect the data. For example, you have survey, you have interview, and then you have observation, yeah, as your method of taking the data, the technique of collecting the data. So it means this method can triangulate to checking the accuracy and the reliable of the data, not only just the based on the researcher's bias or the researcher's interest, yeah. And then the second one is data triangulation, or we can some of that we can call this source triangulation, yeah. In this case, we gather the information from different people, place, and time and times, yeah. For example, yeah. Mm, to take one data, you can take gathering the data from, for example, from the student, and then from the teacher, and then from the stakeholder. So that is different people to triangulate the data or the source of the data. And then the third one, that is investigator triangulation. So in this case, we having multiple researcher analyze the same data to reduce the bias. Yeah. So we will have some of the analysis of the data. So we discussing the finding through the same data. So it can be reduce the bias or the researcher interest. Yeah. And then the last one, that is theoretical triangulation. Looking at the data through different or perspective, yeah. So by using the triangulation, the researcher help ensure the finding are trustworthy, well-rounded, and not based on one point of view only. So that's why one of the strategy or the technique can enhance the credibility is the triangulation, yeah. And then the second strategy or the technique here, member checking, yeah. Uh, we do member checking when the data or analytic categories, interpretation, and conclusion are tested with the member of those group whom data were original obtained. So in this case, the member checking allow the participant to review and validate interpretation, ensuring the experience are accurate. Yeah. So we ask the participant to check whether we have whether no the researcher can ask the participant to interpret their finding, and then of course it is the way for the researcher to answer the conclusion in the finding of the research. So it can also improve the trustworthy of the research, yeah. But sometimes there are some of the weakness or the drawbacks of the member checking, yeah. There are some of the drawbacks, such as, yeah, we have some of the sometimes, yeah, member checking relies on assumption. So some of the participants have different interpretation with the researcher, yeah. So it will be doubt the researcher which one of the interpretation that will be take in the in the finding of the research, yeah. And then sometimes the participant can change their data or the statement when they read some of the different point of view. So that is some of the drawback of this member checking, yeah. Though this member checking is very crucial, and then one of the good technique for the credibility. And then the next one is prolonged engagement. So this is one of the technique that can be used in qualitative, where the researcher can spend extended period in time in researcher setting with the participant. So you can build the trust, and then you can identify the pattern, yeah, and then you can reduce the researcher bias. So it means if you have the prolonged engagement with the participation, so the party no no wait. The participant, yeah, the participant can believe with you, and then they can express the true feeling deal with that research. So you need to extend the time and then build the trust to the participant, yeah. Okay, so in this, yeah, of course, in this technique, of course, instead gathering data quickly, so you cannot get the data quickly. Some of the students just taking one observation and then one interview without prolonged engagement. So that's why you get confused with your data, because some of the participant don't give uh, their feeling, their experience about the data or the true condition in their context, yeah. So that's why some of the researcher found difficulty to draw their finding, yeah, or their conclusion in this case. So of course, the researcher in this case, yeah, can immerse themselves in the environment to ensure the accurate data collection. So we can investigating the time in setting, and then the researcher gain a deeper and then more authentic understanding of the participants' experience. So you will get the authentic and then the more deep data when you do the prolonged engagement, rather than you want to get the data quickly only for one meeting or two meeting only, yeah. Okay, yes, okay. The next one, this is the second pillar. Yeah, the second pillar. We finish with the credibility, and then now we want to discuss about the transferability. Yeah. Okay, the transferability, we have this, yeah. Enhancing study transferability through detailed context of the analysis. So we have the context, that is the specific environment and condition of the study, and then we have the participant, the individual or group involved in the study, and then the setting, that is the physical location where the study take place, and then the circumstance, that is the unique situation and events surrounding the study. So of course, from this transferability, we can have the technique or the strategy, that is thick description. What is the thick description? In qualitative, we have so the thick description here described by Lincoln and Guba, yeah, is the way of achieving by typing external validity by describing phenomenon in sufficient detail. One can begin to evaluate the extent which the conclusion draw are transferable to other times, setting, a situation, and people. So this is the key. Can our research or funding can transferable to other time, setting, situation, and people. So that's why we need to analyze the context, the participant, the setting, and the circumstance. Yeah. So of course, in tick description, you give the specific context, participant, setting, and circumstance of your research. Yeah. Though this is in qualitative we have this generalization, yeah, generalization. But in quantitative, but in qualitative we have this as the transferability. So we cannot claim to be universally applicable, but by offering this thick description and contextual details, it allow to the other to determine whether the finding resonate with the specific setting and professional experience. So that is the reader can't uh, determine that. So can the finding of your research can use in other contexts, yeah, for example. And then the third pillar, that is the dependability. So ensuring the consistency and the reliability through comprehensive record and peer review. So these two technique. The first we have comprehensive record, yeah, that is the detailed documents of the research process to ensure the transparency and traceability, yeah, can be traced, yeah, by other people. So this is our data, yeah. We have the clear document, yeah. And then the second one, that is peer debriefing. That is the collaborative discussion with the peer to identify bias and refine interpretation. So that is the strategy. So the strategy is audit trials. So one of that is the comprehensive record, yeah. So dependability in qualitative concern the consistency of the studies finding over the times, yeah, and across different condition. So to enhance this dependability, the researcher maintains audit trials, so which are comprehensive record, yeah, dealing the research design, data collection method, coding procedure, and analytical decision. So of course you should have the document about all of your raw data, yeah. And then how you analyze your data, for example, coding procedure, and then the next, yeah. So this is audit trials, yeah. And then the next one is the peer debriefing. Yeah, the peer debriefing is another strategy for ensuring dependability is the uh, peer debriefing, yeah. So here you strengthen the credible and trustworthiness of the study by asking peer to give your to give the interpretation of your finding. But of course, it is also have the drawback, yeah, of the drawback in using peer debrief. Sometimes if your peer debriefing have different interpretations of the finding, yeah, of the data, of course which one of the interpretation that need to use in your findings. So that is one of the drawback, though of course this one of the strategy can ensure that the finding not only is based on the researcher subject perspective, but of course you can discuss with your peer whether this finding only my subjective perspective or you have the same interpretation with this data. So you can discuss with your peer debriefing, yeah. So, by cooperating audit trial and peer debriefing, the researcher enhance the dependability of the study, making it possible for others to trace decision-making process and evaluate of the finding. Okay, this is the last pillar, yeah. The okay, just wait. Ability. So, in answering the objectivity in research through conformability practice, we can have some of the technique or strategy here. We have reflexivity, yeah. In this technique, the researcher critically examine the bias and assumption to answer the objectivity. And then the second one is reflective journal. So the researcher need to have the personal record of the tool and process to track and mitigate the bias. Yeah. And then the third, yeah, this is just a same of the previous discussion. Yeah, we have the audit trial. So that is the clear documentation of the research step to ensure the transparency and accountability. Yeah, and then the last strategy here, external audit. A This is independent reviewers to validate finding and answer they are data driven here. So we have discussed before here that conformability in qualitative research refer to the extent with the study finding are shaped by participant experience rather than the researcher personal bias or motivation. So it means in this case we want to make the reader not feels this is my interesting, this is my subjective opinion, yeah, only. So in this case, of course, yeah, of course, the researcher can bring the perspective and the preconceptions to a study, but of course you can answering the conformability requires the transparency in the data collection, analysis, and interpretation. So when you have the data, so the data, and then how you analyze the data, and then you give the way how you analyze the data, for example, how you give the coding and then etc. Yeah, and then how you draw the interpretation of the finding. Yeah, so this is the reflexivity. Yeah, the reflexivity. So this is the, yeah, the next technique. Yeah, what is this? So the reflexivity is an attitude of attending systematically to the context of the knowledge construct, especially to the effect of the researcher and at every step of the research process. So in this case, the research background and position will affect what they choose to investigate, the angle of investigation, and then the method judged most adequate for this purpose, and then the finding considered most appropriate, and the framing and communication of the conclusion. So this is based on Meltred, yeah. And then this is one of the technique, yeah, of the conformability, where the researcher can critically examine their own bias, assumption, and potential influence on the researcher process. So the common practice when you use the reflexivity, that is using reflective journal, yeah. So the researcher can collect the document of their thought, decision, and any possible bias through the study. Yeah. And then this is the last one, yeah. This is the last one. Oh, no. This is another technique, yeah. That is audit trials. So the audit trial can also help establishing conformability by providing a clear record of the step that taken arrive at the study conclusion. So, an audit trial is transparent description of the research step taken from the start of the research project to develop the report and finding. And then these are record that are kept regarding what was done in an investigation. Yeah, this is audit trial. Okay. And then in audit trials, of course, we have this, yeah, the raw data, data reduction and analysis, product data reconstruction and synthesis, product process note, materials relating to intention and disposition. And then the last one, instrument development information, yeah. Okay, so this raw data is including, for example, yeah, the field note, yeah, the field note or some of the document, yeah, that deal with collecting of the data. And then in data reduction and analysis product, it is including the summary such as the condensed note, and then the theoretical note, and then some of the information. And then the data reconstruction and synthesis, it is including the structure of categories, for example, theme, definition, and relationship. So the finding and conclusion and the final report, including the connection to the existing literature and integration to the concept, yeah, and interpretation. So this is data reconstruction and synthesis product. And then the next in process note, of course, you have including methodological notes such as the procedures of your research or collecting the data, and then how the design of the research, and then rationals, yeah. So of course this is deal with many type of your research. And then the material relating to the intention and disposition, it is for example including the inquiry proposal, personal note or reflective note, yeah, and then your expectation, yeah. And then the last one, this is instrument development information. Uh, It can be including the filet form, observation format. Yeah, for example, you have the information observation format, or you have the preliminary collect the data order. So this is instrument. And then the last, that is external audit. Yeah, external audit allow an independent reviewer to evaluate the research answer that finding are based on data rather than research assumption. So this is based on the Creswell and Port 2018. Yeah. Okay, so this is the summary, yeah, the summary of the four pillar, yeah, the four pillar that we have discussed, yeah. The first, we discuss about the credibility, that is about the trustfulness of the study finding. And then we have the techniques, yeah, prolonged engagement, member check, and triangulation. So, for example, sharing finding with participant for feedback. This is member checking, yeah. And then the second pillar, that is transferability. The meaning is applicability in other setting. So the technique can be thick description of the context. And then, for example, you can detail community description for relevant judgment. And then the third pillar, that is dependability, that is about the consistencies of the research process. So you can have the document record and external audit. So you can have the committee review of the research or a peer reviewer, yeah. And then the last one, the last pillar of the trustworthiness, yeah, that is conformability. That is talking about the neutrality and objectivity of your findings, yeah. So the technique uh, to enhance your conformability in qualitative research is by audit trial, reflexivity, and then external review. So for example, you have fair, validate, documented analysis process. So this is as the last presentation of yeah, in this forums, yeah, this is as my conclusion. So the trustworthiness is the foundation of the quality in qualitative research. It ensures that finding are credible, dependable, and meaningful to others. Because qualitative research focus on understanding human experience, researcher must demonstrate that their interpretation are accurate and authentic. So that's all that I can say to you. I hope that you can understand my explanation. These are some of the reference that you can search in some of the books or article. Okay, thank you. I give back to the moderator.
Thank you so much, Dr. Utami, for that very inspiring and eye-opening presentation. Now we are moving to the Q&A session, where you can ask anything related to the topics today. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please turn on your mic or type in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, Aina Ingrum, please.
Okay, thank you, Miss. So my name is Aina Ningrum. So, ma'am, I want to ask before you talk about member checking. So, during member checking, sometimes the participants may change or revise their answers after seeing our interpretation as a researcher. So, is that allowed, ma'am? Or if they do that, should we as the researcher use their new version or just keep the original one, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I should answer now or just waiting for another question, Ibu?
Want to direct answer the question?
Yeah, Ibu?
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Uh,
for the next question, we keep
huh?
the one. The other guys
Okay.
who want to give a question? Anyone? All right. I think, ma'am, Fanny, would you like to respond for the first question from Aina Ningrum?
What? Agak
So,
putus-putus, Ibu.
okay, sorry, ma'am.
I just
Would you-
answered the
Yes,
Ainan question.
yes.
Is that
Would you
right,
like-
Bu?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to
Okay,
respond?
so Okay, so of course, the researcher here in member checking, the researcher share the interview transcript, summary, or interpretation with the participant, ya, Ainan. So the participant can read and confirm whether the information truly represent their views or experience. So if they notice the misunderstanding or misdetail or incorrect interpretation, they can revise or clarify, yeah, or expand the answer, yeah. So the researcher then can update the data analysis to reflect this correction. So of course, it means we allowing the participant change the answer because they have the note, yeah, they have the misunderstanding or misleading or incorrect interpretation, something like that. Aina.
Thank you so much for the answer, ma'am.
Okay, next question, guys. Who wants to give answer question about our topic today for our speaker?
Ma'am Utami, can I ask you?
Yes,
Please,
Asriel.
April.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I know that I have been a graduate from that university, but it was very important for me to know details because of this is my experiences last time when I discussed and also I did my writing in my thesis. The first question is about when you're talking about the technique of establishing trustworthiness. Of course, it is depends on the different theories, right?
Yes.
And one of the theories that you have been telling us it's about from the Lincoln and Guba,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And also you classify the elements of the trustworthiness is theory triangulations, and after the last one, it is about the data triangulations. My question is, when we are talking about one of the component example triangulations, because triangulation refer to the process of using multiple theoretical perspective. Is there any minimum criteria to use the theory itself, or even we have like a certain criteria in order to put in our thesis? This is my first questions. And also the second question is, you have already discussed and also told us about the instrument development information through the observation sheet. The observation sheet can be classified into the questions, right, ma'am?
Yes. If
The question, right, of observations in like the questions that will be given to the participants. But in reality, when we were dealing to deliver like the questions, sometimes it is not relatable with the reality. So we can revise or we have to use the same thing. That's all. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Azriel. So the first question is deal with how we consider which one of the theory that we can use in our research, yeah.
Yeah, because of there are a lot of multiple perspectives about the theories, right? So is there any criteria or minimum criteria that we can implement in our thesis to have a validity and also accuracy in order to know which is our part? Yes.
Okay, so of course that is depend on the researcher, which one that you, with your opinion, yeah. Uh, but of course, the thing that you need to consider, yeah, of course, how you evaluate the criteria of your trustworthiness. For example, you have another terminology of the Mice and
Yeah.
Haberman evaluative criteria. For example, this is about objectivity or conformability. So that is just the same. Maybe they have different terminology, but we can say that is the same purposes. Yeah, the same purposes. For example, for objectivity or conformability, that is relate the neutrality or the freedom from the acknowledgement of the researcher bias, yeah, for example, something like that. And then another one for the credibility, yeah, maybe we have another terminology that is authenticity. So of course, the purpose is that is that what you want to underline, how you build the trust value, yeah. So do the finding of your study make sense? Are the data or the finding of your research are credible to the other people studied, or the member of the community, or the others, something like that. So that is depend on you what strategies that possible to do in your research. For example, if it is possible to do member checking, and then you can do one of that strategy. If sometimes it is very hard for you when you do the technique of member checking, when you have the participant in lower grade of the student.
Yeah.
So they will difficult to interpret their data, their understanding about
Perspective.
the interview. Yeah. So of course it is possible that you can use another technique. For example, you can use the triangulation. You can choose the the source triangulation or other triangulation such as like
Okay.
that.
It means that in a simple way, it is considerable and situational, ma'am.
Yeah,
And it is
yeah.
also,
So
yes,
what you
and
can
it is
do in your
also
research.
addressed for the researchers, not the lectures ones, right? Or the lectures with, yeah.
Yeah, what?
It is addressed for the needs of the researchers, yeah, ma'am, not the lectures' needs, right?
Yeah, not the lecturer's need. Yeah, not for the lecturer's needs, but of course, the researcher needs based on the situation of the context of his or the research.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can do member checking, that's okay. But if you cannot do the member checking, it is you need to consider another technique to do the trustworthiness of your study in qualitative. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. I clearly understand.
Okay. The second question, yeah. The second question, what? Deal
The
with?
Yes, the second questions you have already asked about the instruments development informations. It is talking about observation sheet, right?
Yeah.
Observation sheet, it means like the questions, the list of questions that will be addressed to the interviewer, or the informant, right?
Observation sheet.
Is it?
Which one?
Yes. Because you have already said from the previous one, instruments development informations is one of them is observation sheet. Do you
Observation.
mean by like the observations list, like the questions that we will deliver for the informant?
Oh, wait. I will share this, yeah. Okay. Do you mean this a persistent observation?
Maybe two before the last slide, I think 2 or 3 before the last slide, because you have said instrument developments. Is there terms of instrument development informations, and you
Oh, I
can
see.
see
This is.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
this one. Okay. So, of course, this is, yeah, some of the categories reporting the information in audit trial. Yeah. In audit
mm-mm,
trial, yeah. Firstly, you have the raw data. Of course, for example, your data from the
yeah,
interview, your data from the observation, something like that. Yeah.
yes, like your question sheet, right?
Okay. Yeah, okay. And then the next data reduction and analysis product, that is such as how you condense your data.
Yes,
How you
the data
condense your
technique
data.
like
Yeah.
condensations, display, and verification, right, ma'am?
Yeah. Okay. And then this is data reconstruction and synthesis.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is the structure of categories. For example, how you decide the themes, and then definition, and then make the relationship between the themes, and then your interpretation with the text or the data. Yeah.
data.
So you can report the finding or the conclusion of your finding. Yeah. And then which one? Yeah. Talking about the observation format. Oh, this is instrument development information format. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Including the uh, preliminary schedule and observation format. Yeah.
Now, ma'am, therefore, some of us as a students feel like a curiosity or even like very tough to see
Uh,
which one is the good format, and maybe some of lecturers said that you can get from another sources or even like another theories. Is there theories or even like it is just focused on ourselves to make the list of the format, ma'am? or is there from the theories, or we can see from the sources, or it can be like built by ourselves to make the format situations or format one?
Yeah, you can adopt from the sources, yeah, and then you can consider your own use in your context, of course.
It is a must, right, ma'am?
Yeah, yes,
It is a must.
it is a must. No,
Yes,
no.
to
It,
adopt from the theories.
for the observation format, of course,
Yes.
it is yes, of course, yes, yes. Deal with, of course, if that is just observation field note, we don't have any format yet.
I Okay, ma'am. I guess so. Thank you so much. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Azriel, for the question and
Okay,
for
another question maybe.
another question. Who wants to raise your hand or type in the chat box or turn on your microphone? One last question, maybe.
Ayo silakan yang belum sempro nanti daripada pada saat sempro ditanya Mem Tami tentang trustworthiness kan. Bagus di sini bertanyanya.
Saya kemarin ditanya itu Mem Revlina.
Ya, karena itu memang masternya Mem Tami.
Juga sama belajar kita. Oke.
Okay. I think enough for discussion. No more questions. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Dr. Utami, for that very inspiring and insight session. We've learned a lot today about credibility, dependability, and authenticity in qualitative research, and how to make our studies more trustworthy and meaningful. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to express our deepest gratitude to Dr. Utami Dewi M. Hum for her valuable time and insights. And of course, thank you for all MPBI students for joining and staying active until the end. And finally, let's close today's session with Alhamdulillah Alamin. That concludes my duty as moderator. I now will listen to the session back to Master of Ceremony, Ms. Raflina.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Hairani Rizka yang telah memandu Graduate Academic Forum pada kesempatan kali ini. Tentunya terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kami sampaikan kepada narasumber kita pada hari ini, yaitu Mem Dr. Utami Dewi M. Hum atas sharing ilmunya. Semoga apa yang disampaikan oleh Mem Tami menjadi sesuatu yang bermanfaat bagi penulisan tesis untuk mahasiswa-mahasiswi MTBI dan juga menjadi amal jariah ya Mem. Terima kasih sekali lagi Mem atas waktunya. Berikut kami berikan penghargaan berupa sertifikat dari Prodi MTBI kepada Mem Tami. Terima kasih. Nanti share ya Mem setelah kegiatan sertifikatnya. Oke, terima kasih sekali lagi ya Mem. Oke,
Terima kasih Bu Raflina, terima kasih Bu Rani.
Sampai di sini ya sama Mem. Sampai di sini Academic Forum. Sampai jumpa di Graduate Academic Forum berikutnya. Namun sebelum itu kita akan melakukan sesi foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Silahkan dibuka kameranya.
Sudah.
Oke, sudah dibuka dulu Andri, Ibu Ari Gusti, Dia, Ibu Ika, Wildan, Aisyah. Oh, ada kita, Kaprodi S1 TBI. Kepada Miss Mariati Salmiah, selamat datang, Miss.
Terima
Terima
kasih
kasih.
Bu Sekrodi S2 MTBI.
Ini pasti menyupport bestinya ya, Masya
Iya.
Allah.
Sport
Masya
Bestie, Sport Bestie.
Iya, support bestie. Oke, Oke, kita akan melakukan sesi bersama. Satu, Bu Rani ya, siap ya. Satu, dua, tiga. Oke, terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih, Ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Saya sebagai
Saya sebagai MC pada hari ini mohon maaf apabila terdapat salah-salah kata. Saya akhiri kegiatan ini dengan billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
warahmatullahi
ma'am.
wabarakatuh. Thank you, ma'am.
Absennya jangan lupa diisi ya Bapak Ibu. Linknya sudah di drop di chat.
Astagfirullah.